In Galatians chapter 5, from verses 16 through 26, Paul contrasts two different ways of approaching and living our life: living according to the flesh and living according to the Spirit. He says the works of the flesh are obvious: fornication, impurity, licentiousness, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, anger, quarrels, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, carousing, and things like these. And he says those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. And we want to make sure in our own lives that we are rooting out and certainly not living in those kinds of ways. And then in verses 22 and 23, he says, by contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against such things. Those of you who have listened to me preach and teach for many years know that the fruit of the Spirit, to me, is just a bedrock aspect of being a Christian. These 9 different virtues, which are all evidence of the fruit of the Spirit within us, should be growing and increasing and maturing and developing in us for the rest of our lives once we begin to follow Jesus. And you can hear from my sharing today what a contrast they are to living according to the flesh. Behaviors that are destructive, harmful, unhealthy, that we are to avoid for our own benefit. And again, all that God describes for us in terms of following Jesus is for our own benefit. People who go out and live lives filled with enmities and strife and jealousy and anger and quarrels and dissensions and the like. I mean, what a miserable life. Who would want that for themselves? And by contrast, who wouldn't want more love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and all the rest? Who wouldn't want more of that in our life? I encourage you to really consider taking these verses, Galatians 5:22 to 23, to heart and memorizing the 9 fruit of the Spirit. You can do them in whatever translation you like the best. The principles, the virtues, are basically the same. And it's what I believe God is looking for in every one of our lives. And as I so often say, you can measure what you say, what you do, even what you think, what you write when you write to other people. Is it consistent with the fruit of the Spirit? I pray that BBC will be a very fruitful church and that all these virtues would be clearly evident among us in abundance.